Yes, I've been slacking on making this video, which is why I thought a good topic would be on how to find motivation. Also thought this would be fitting to have the recording in the background be the one thing I've been procrastinating on, the episode 1 storyboards. That's what we're doing today. So let's talk about the Valley of Despair. So you start a project and you see a pretty good growth, and it's really easy to get motivated because you're learning new things or you're accomplishing tasks. What you're really focusing on is how far you've come from where you started. But as you go further and further, you start to get into the lower level of the valley, and it's harder to see how far you've come because you're more focused on when you're going to get to the end and when you're going to accomplish your task. Because we expect our progress to be a straight line going from the beginning to the end, when in reality it's more of a curve, and people usually give up about halfway through, which is when they're almost to the end. So how do we find motivation in that valley of despair? Are you doing this more for the art or for the content? So I would say the art would be something where you're leaning more towards yourself. So for example, that'd be more in my bag, where I'm making something to improve upon my own skills and I'm not so focused on what other people think or how it turns out for them. Whereas if you're more focused on the content, which would be like, the result, that's where you're more focused on what others are going to respond to that and how this is going to affect others. So that's a good thing to think about right off the bat, because that will change how your overall progress is supposed to go. So the next step to get into is kind of figuring out what you are doing and then how you're going to do it. So a good way to do this is figure out what all you need to do. So that's setting specific goals for yourself and what needs to be done. A good way to do this, just a very simple basic way, is to set a goal for yourself that has time and a measurable amount of stuff that needs to get done that's reasonable. It has to be reasonable. You can't just say, I want to film an entire movie in a week and have it published and out there and go to like a big famous studio and then I'm done with it. That's not reasonable in the slightest. So we got to balance it out and make sure we're balancing our time with the amount of stuff we need to do. And there's different ways you can do this where it can count as time. Time could just be a section of your day that you're spending on working on this, or it could be an accountability partner that'll help check in with you, or even a deadline. And it might help some people to have a reward or some sort of like punishment set up to get yourself motivated. A good example would be, I want to finish this character design by the end of the day, or I want to finish writing Act 1 by the end of the day. Something like that. Something that has a decent amount of content, but not too much, with a reasonable amount of time that's not 5 years in the future. Next would be figuring out a game plan. So usually what people do is they think about all the things they have on their list that need to get done before they can reach their end goal, and they get overwhelmed. This leads to forgetfulness or silly mistakes that might leave a huge impact on your work, or even sometimes people will quit entirely because it's too hard and they don't want to do it and they won't move on. This is why it's good to figure out not just what we're doing, but how we're doing it. So let's talk about breaks versus procrastination, because this is important when it comes to motivation as well. So there's something called an incubation period when it comes to projects. Oftentimes people will abuse this break system by saying, I just can't get motivated, or I'm just a procrastinator, and they wait till the last second to do stuff. But here's the hard truth. Procrastinating is a choice. Does that mean it's any less difficult to get up and going? No, of course not. Procrastinating is one of those things where we try and make excuses and say, when I wait till the last second, I'm actually more productive. And that's really not true. You may look at the project, and so as the deadline gets closer, of course, it's going to be in the back of your mind. And so you've already had all these ideas incubating in the back of your mind. And so that's why you find it so easy to write when you have like an hour left to submit something at work, whatever you may come into where you're procrastinating. If we stretch that time out and we offer more periods of time where we have this in the back of our mind and working on different parts, will actually come out with a better result and be less stressed in the process. We also need to be careful on the other side of this too, because people like me who might not be struggling with procrastination as much are more prone to burnout, and we really do not want to head to burnout because that just removes all motivation whatsoever and kind of gets rid of your passion. So we don't want to reach burnout and we don't want to reach procrastination. So what's the middle choice? Incubation. So this is where incubation comes into play. What can I do when I feel my brain start to get overworked? So oftentimes we're in a flow state for so long, it's going great, and then all of a sudden you feel like you hit a roadblock and there's this huge problem that you just can't get past, and you can't really think of like, okay, how am I going to write this next part, or how is this next part going to happen, how is this problem going to be solved, and you're just stuck. This is the part when a lot of people would quit, or they'd use like AI or something to get past the problem. It'll flow a lot better when you let it happen naturally. So here are some ways where you can let it happen naturally. You can go for a walk. So this will get your mind off what your problem is at hand, and start getting you, just kind of relaxed, and you take a break and you let your brain just wander, and you can just keep going. And so other things that are like that, you can take a shower, go get a healthy snack, call a friend, watch a movie, or take a nap. And all of these things are going to help you take your mind off the project, off the problem that's maybe making you stressed or overworked or just stumped. And your subconscious is actually going to be working on that in the background. And so that's why sometimes when someone's taking a shower or about to fall asleep, or maybe they fell asleep and just woke up, they have this sudden aha moment where everything just clicks and starts for them. And so I actually had this with one of my episodes a while back. I was really stuck on my episode 1 of this series, and I had like these 2 scenes that were in there that I really liked at the time when I wrote them, but I kept like looking at it and I was like, something is wrong here, I'm just stumped, I can't figure this out. And so I started getting like really frustrated with myself, because I was like, maybe I'm not a skilled enough writer, or maybe I just need to quit this or write something new and maybe start on a different project. Kind of the peer pressure of knowing that it's out there on the internet and a lot of people are gonna know if I give up on this after talking all this big talk about how I'm not. So I decided I just was gonna take a break. So I took a couple weeks. I did work on some other areas in the project, like my episode 2 detailed script. I worked on some of my mini-sodes and like getting those kind of figured out of what I was gonna do. And by the time I came back to episode 1, it had only been 2 weeks max, and it clicked to me, and I ended up removing 2 whole scenes from the script, which I might talk about more once I can get episode 1 out there. This isn't doing anything to further the story, and I've already like said these points before, and so I removed them from my script, and it actually took my script down a whole page, made it flow a lot better, made it more condensed, and I do not miss the scenes at all. Your brain is working in the background to figure out these problems, and you end up with something that you love even more. And sometimes these incubation periods can last a while, like depending on what area or what project you're working on, they can last anywhere from a couple days to a couple months. But the main thing we want to focus on is that we're not putting this project on the shelf. We're not procrastinating, we're not forgetting about this project and saying, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. We're saying, I need a break from this for right now. Maybe I'll work on some other projects, or maybe I'll think about some other things, and I'll get back to it eventually. Because breaks are good. Not when they're abused, but breaks are good. It's like you get so into something, you get so motivated in the work and inspired by the work, you just keep going and don't stop. We love flow, and everyone feels great in flow. Here are some easy ways you can get into flow. So environment building. So set an environment where you know you're going to be more focused. So this would be getting out of being in your bedroom, going to a library or a cafe or somewhere over there, or even just setting out, like turning on a certain light, or putting on a candle, or putting on a specific pair of clothing or pants or whatever. Anything like that can help you get going. You have to get your body ready and get your mind willing to say, hey, we're switching from our go everyday life into this area where we're going to be writing, or we're going to be solving problems and working on all of this stuff. So you have to have that switch in your brain where it recognizes, oh, this light's on, gonna start writing. Another way is turning off screens. So we usually have a hard time parting from our phones and even like setting them off of our desk, but I want you to just set like a timer for like an hour or two, or you know, however long you want. Just put your phone out of sight, somewhere you can't reach, and just spend that time focusing on what you're doing. You know, we don't want any other projects on your desk. We don't want any kind of other tabs open on your computer. We want you to just focus on what you're doing right now. And when you do that, you end up with way better work, and it's a little bit easier to start putting all of your attention into that area. Another way you can get in the flow is finding inspiration. So I know I just told you to put your screens away, but sometimes it helps to have them out and going through stuff. So if you're a painter or you like to animate or something like that, it might help just watching a couple videos or what you can improve upon on how to animate, or like motivation videos or something like that. Something to get your creativity flowing. So like if you're a writer, maybe you watch a video of someone analyzing like how to write this character, or how this place wrote this character, and what you can do better. So go out and get motivated and inspired. Love what you do and do what you love. Let me know if you have any extra tips for others watching this video, and put them in the comments. And if you like this video and want to see more, let me know. If you wanted to follow my progress on my animated series coming out, subscribing would be a good way to support me. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!